Thanks very much. Good day, everybody. My name is Pat Donnelly, and I'm the President and CEO of E79 Resources. We are a Canadian-listed company, but with assets in Victoria. And I just joined the company last May. Previously, I was a geologist. I was also a mining analyst, and I've been on the corporate side for the last 10 years or so. And the reason I joined this company is, one, they've had tremendous exploration success in the state of Victoria, near the Fosterville mine. We also are well cashed up. We have 6 million Canadian in cash. And also, Australia is one of the best mining jurisdictions in the world. And I think nowadays it's becoming more challenging more than ever to try to develop mineral deposits, and jurisdictions becoming more important. Forward-looking statement, I will be making forward-looking statements. So why invest in E79? One, we're in one of the most prolific gold mining jurisdictions in the world. It's yielded over 80 million ounces of gold. We've also already had some very good drilling results. In June of 2021, our third hole produced 11 meters of over 160 grams per ton gold, which is just phenomenal. We have a very large land package. It's close to infrastructure. We have roads, power, and we're about 20 minutes from the local town. Our drilling costs are pretty low. $315, it's actually gone down. It's probably more like $225 a meter, which is very, very low. So we can get lots of bang for the buck drilling. Experienced management board, I've been doing this for 30 years. I work as a geologist all over Canada. We have a very strong technical team in Australia. And as I mentioned before, we're well financed. So the Victorian goldfields is a very prolific area. It was kind of overlooked for quite a while until Kirkland Lake Gold made a new discovery at the Fosterville mine. And the Fosterville mine's been around for quite a while. It's been in production for about 30 years, but it was always a very challenging operation. It was metallurgically challenging. It wasn't very profitable. And the previous owner, Kirkland Lake Gold, made a huge discovery in 2016 where they discovered a new area called the Swan Zone. And the Swan Zone, they were finding high-grade coarse gold. And the material is multi-ounce, very high grade. And so they increased their production from about 200,000 ounces a year to about 600,000 ounces per year. And then in February of this year, Agnico Eagle, which is a large Canadian company, acquired Kirkland Lake. So the discovery of the Swan Zone really resulted in a lot more attention being brought to this area in the state of Victoria. And there's a number of other mines in the area: Ballarat, Bendigo, Stawell. You can see where our projects are. We've got Myrtleford in the northeast, and then Beaufort in the southwest. And most of our activity lately has been at Myrtleford. So what I really like about Myrtleford, what's really interesting is this property has produced over 5 million ounces of alluvial gold. And so there was quite a bit of activity in the late 1800s. The old timers are mostly going after the placer workings, basically with shovels and pickaxes. And then when they mined all the alluvial workings, they went into the hills to look for the hard rock source of this mineralization. And so they're mining these high-grade veins. And as you can see there, every single dot there is a gold showing. So there's numerous gold showings, coarse gold at surface that they were mining. The first area that we focused on was Happy Valley, and it's about 13 kilometers long. And I was there last June in Australia at the site. And what really caught my mind was you could see all the working showings, pits, and adits. And when you see all this activity, historic activity, you know that there's coarse gold. And then on the third hole we drilled there, the other thing is they only mined down to the water table about 30 meters. And then they didn't go below that because it was the late 1800s and they just didn't have the equipment at that time to deal with below the water table. So they basically just mined at the surface and they didn't go any deeper than that. So our goal was to go under these mining workings and see if we can follow the gold at depth. So you can see here, this is a plan map of the drilling. We drilled about, I believe it was 18 holes at Happy Valley beneath the workings. And you can see here that we discovered some of these reefs. On our third hole, we hit 11 meters, 160 grams. We also had a few other really good holes. You have 0.7 meters of 100 grams, 2.3 meters of 44 grams, and also there was also 5 meters or 6 meters of about 70 grams. So very, very high grade. It's narrow. That's kind of the nature of the beast in this area. And it's also similar to what you see at Fosterville. So the point is, because you got such high grades, you don't need much material to come out with a really good resource. And these are some of the results from Happy Valley from the last year or so. We were drilling there until early spring, and we recently just stopped drilling just to take all the data and analyze it and decide where we want to go next at depth. But the mineralization is open at depth, and again, it's very, very high grade. The other area we're drilling was at Twist Creek, and we started drilling there this spring. Again, numerous working, showings, and adits. The only mine to the water table, and you can see all the red dots which show where gold was. And they were mining about an ounce per ton material. So again, very, very high grade. And there were a number of areas we drilled at Twist Creek. The two areas in particular were Victoria and Scandinavian. The results weren't bad. It's a bit narrow. The grades aren't bad, but we got 0.35 meters of 40 grams. Again, narrow but very, very high grade. And so there's lots of these everywhere. And I think the trick is to find something that has some continuity where you can build some ounces. And so we just stopped drilling at Twist Creek about a month ago. They've had unusually heavy rains in the state of Victoria, record amounts of rainfall and flooding. And so we just thought it'd be prudent not to drill because of safety concerns. So just switching gears, I'll just mention Beaufort. We've got about 2 minutes left. That's our other project. Again, there's been over 1 million ounces of alluvial production. And so what we've been doing is carrying out soil geochemistry, geophysics, and mapping. And again, we've identified the source of this alluvial gold. And so the plan is to drill it probably sometime next year. Again, here's some of the, just a comparison between the Fosterville mine and our properties. Similar geology, similar mineralization, similar structure, similar age. So all the ingredients that we have, they also have at Fosterville. And so that's the geologic model we're using to identify mineralization. Capital structure. You know what? We did a financing in June of 2020. Eric Sprott came in for $1. We were trading at one point $1.40. We were at 80 cents last spring. Now we're at 15 cents, and there's no reason for that. There hasn't been any, all our shareholders are still there. Nobody sold. And so it's a little bit disappointing given that we've had tremendous success. Our market capitalization is now $10 million Canadian, and yet we have $6 million in cash Canadian. And we can make that cash last for at least the next couple of years. Really good shareholders, Eric Sprott, Commodity Capital in Zurich, and US Global in Texas. And management insiders, we own over 20% of the stock. I've been buying stock in the market because it's so cheap. So again, I'm sure you've seen a lot of companies in a similar situation, but in our case, our operating costs are very, very low. There's only 2 of us that are full-time employees. We have a VP of exploration in Australia. I'm in Vancouver, and very little in the way of support staff. So we can keep the cost low. So just in conclusion, again, very large land position, great infrastructure in probably one of the most overlooked gold regions in the world, in a property where there's numerous working, showings, and adits. There's lots of gold there, and we've already had some very good drill holes, $6 million in cash, good shareholders, and in a great jurisdiction. And thank you very much. And if you have any questions, I'll be at my table there. I don't have any meetings the rest of the day, so I'm happy to spend time and talk to you. And thank you for coming out. Appreciate it.